On a summer night in 1981, hundreds of people gathered at the brand new Hyatt Regency Hotel in Kansas City. The atrium was alive with music, dancing, and laughter. But in just a few seconds, joy turned to horror. Two suspended walkways suddenly snapped and crashed down into the crowd below. 114 people were killed and more than 200 injured, one of the deadliest structural collapses in American history. And here's the chilling part. It all happened because of a small design change, a decision so simple that it seemed harmless, yet it turned a hotel into a death trap. The Hyatt Regency was meant to be Kansas City's shining star, a luxury hotel with a breathtaking atrium, 40 stories tall, and floating walkways that allowed guests to look down on the bustling lobby below. These suspended bridges weren't just practical, they were architectural art. Sleek steel rods held them in place, giving the illusion they were floating in midair. The Hyatt opened in 1980 to great fanfare. Its Friday night tea dances became a local tradition, drawing crowds of over 1,000 people. But hidden in the design was a fatal flaw, one that no one noticed until it was too late. Originally, the walkways were designed to be supported by a single, continuous steel rod, running from the ceiling through both walkways. But when the steel fabricators reviewed the plan, they proposed a small change to make construction easier. Instead of one long rod, they used two shorter rods, one hanging the upper walkway from the ceiling and the lower walkway from the upper one. On paper, it didn't look like much, but this simple change doubled the load on the upper walkway's connections. Instead of carrying its own weight, it was also carrying the full weight of the lower walkway. No one ran the calculations. No one double-checked the new design. The Hyatt Regency opened with a ticking time bomb hanging over its lobby. July 17, 1981. More than 1,600 people packed the Hyatt atrium for the weekly tea dance. The band was playing, couples twirled on the dance floor, and hundreds crowded the walkways above to watch. At 7:05 p.m., a sharp crack echoed across the atrium. Then another. Suddenly, the second and fourth floor walkways gave way, crashing down onto the crowded dance floor. In an instant, steel and concrete fell onto the crowd like a guillotine. 114 people were killed, 216 injured. Survivors described it as if the ceiling itself had fallen. The dance floor became a scene of devastation. Crushed bodies, twisted steel, and cries for help. Rescue efforts lasted through the night. Workers had to cut through steel beams while listening to screams from the trapped. Some victims were pinned for hours. Others didn't survive the weight. Investigators quickly discovered the truth. The collapse wasn't an act of fate. It was an engineering failure caused by negligence. That small design change, the switch from a single rod to two rods, had never been properly analyzed. The load on each connection doubled from 90 kilonewtons to 180. The joints simply couldn't handle it. The Hyatt was doomed from the moment construction finished. The engineering firm lost its license. Careers were destroyed. Families demanded justice. But the bigger question remained, how could such a simple mistake kill so many? It was a failure not just of design, but of communication, oversight, and responsibility. A reminder that in engineering, even the smallest shortcut can have catastrophic consequences.
Tonight, in the first of three-part series, we take you back. The Hyatt Regency Skywalk disaster.
It was 1981 in Kansas City. A tragedy like none this city had ever seen. A Friday night tea dance, hundreds of dancers at the crowded Hyatt Regency Hotel, all in the lobby and up above on the hotel's three elevated walkways. At 7:05 that fateful night, two of those walkways collapsed.
Right in there.
I knew exactly what happened before anybody told me, because like I said, when I heard that metal and concrete go, I I knew.
Emergency workers, doctors, and regular people searched the rubble. Men, women, and children trapped under tons of debris, some of them alive.
My dad was yelling, "Help, you've got children." And they must have heard him because it wasn't a really long time.
Workers cut open what this young man describes as a rectangle in the debris.
And then he pulled my dad out first, then my little sister, and then he pulled out me by my legs because I couldn't move my arm.
A broken collarbone, fractured rib, bruised ankle and lower back. He and his family survived. Those at the Hyatt that night and nearby helped or gathered to watch and pray. The news reports picked up in the morning.
As Kansas City went to sleep last night, it was shocked by the city's worst tragedy in its history. As it awakened this morning, it was shocked again. More than 100 people had died here.
The Hyatt Regency walkway collapse remains a turning point in engineering history. It led to stricter building codes, new peer review processes, and a culture of accountability in structural design. But for the families of the 114 victims, no regulation could bring their loved ones back. The disaster is still taught in engineering schools worldwide as a case study in ethics and responsibility. Because when lives are at stake, there is no such thing as a small change. And here's the bonus. The Hyatt wasn't the only case where a minor structural oversight led to tragedy. Just a few years earlier, in 1978, part of the Peachtree 25th Apartments in Atlanta collapsed due to weak concrete, killing several residents. Once again, shortcuts in design and construction had fatal consequences. The lesson? History keeps repeating itself until we finally learn. So what do you think? Should engineers and companies be held criminally responsible for lives lost due to design flaws? Or should the blame fall on the system that allows oversight to fail? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'll be replying to as many as I can.